Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Crochet With Me vlog. I am Bria, in case you didn't know. So, I have been working on writing some patterns recently. That's been fun. I've been enjoying that immensely. I've been experimenting with different techniques. I've been trying to figure out types of patterns that I like making, like no-sew or complex ones, how I like to make them, like do I want simpler ones? Do I want ones with more complicated stitch arrangements? And I mean, I still have a long way to go. I have a lot of work to do. I'll always be learning though, so. But it's fun to, figure that out. I don't know when this video is getting posted compared to that one, but I was doing a, process for writing a crochet pattern video, and I made an otter. Actually, I would just be one of those people and just not show you and be like, hey, go check out other stuff to see that, but no. Here it is. Look at this friend. Anyway, it's stuffed with beans for my first ever plushie stuffed with beans, which is very exciting because I love the feel of the beans. Beans! Anyway. Currently I'm working on Opossum, which that's been fun. I wanted to make it a bit bigger than my otter. My otter is very small. And the otter, just for a bit of reference, that one is a bit more of a complex pattern. It has a lot more very specific orders of stuff. The possum, I wanted to experiment with it being a little bit more simplified, I guess would be the word. So the way I did it with otter is I was doing all in the same round. I was doing a bunch of single crochets for the bottom part to keep it flat, and then a whole bunch of other types of stitches. And that was on top of the bobble stitches for the feet, and that was on top of the ears, and that was along with the increases and the decreases. It's a bit of a chaotic pattern, but I like how it turned out. It is more of an advanced pattern though. So I wanted to make some easier patterns, or just experiment with how I might make easier patterns. So right now with my possum, I'm basically just and when I mean easier, I just mean instead of having really long row instructions, do this many single crochets and then increase, and then do this many more single crochets and then increase twice, and then do that a certain amount of times. Also, single crochet, increase, single crochet, and then you continue on doing a reverse section, or I make them kind of confusing sometimes, but I like how they turn out, and so I think that they are worth it for me personally. If you know what you're doing and if you are a bit more advanced. But sometimes it's nice to have a more simple pattern, in the sense that it's easier to follow. Also, I injured myself. Don't worry about that. Just ignore the band-aid. It's fine. It's fine. So for the more quote-unquote simplified pattern that I'm doing for the possum, first off, just to explain it simply, shorter row instructions, which basically boils down to, for example, do a bunch of single crochets, and then the next row would be a repeating step sequence, single crochet, increase, and do that 6 times or whatever. I mean, I still have to do a few more complicated rows for the bobbles so that you actually can place the bobbles correctly. But the feet rows are the only rows that would have those more complicated steps, which is a lot more simplified than my rat and my otter pattern that I've done. Oh, actually, how about I show you what it's looking like right now? So this is it. I know it's a little bit blown out because of my lights. This is my possum, what it's looking like right now. It doesn't have any eyes. It's just literally ears right now. But this is my second version that I've done. What I often like to do, and I explained a little bit in the otter video, I like to make a just the body by itself version, and then add the feet later. For this one, I wanted to test out adding the feet in the first version, which worked out fine, actually. I was worried about that, but it worked out fine. And then what I do is I take a photo and make a bunch of notes of things I want to change or whatever compared to my original sketch. just to make it look more like what I want it to look like. And then I frog the whole thing and try to make those changes, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm making the changes from the original version. So that's what I'm working on currently. That's what I've been working on basically all day. Not that I've been working on it straight all day. I've been working on it on and off. Anyway, so that's coming along. I'm liking how it's turning out. There's a few things I'm a little bit worried about that won't turn out quite the way I want it to, and then I'll have to do like a third or a fourth version, which is fine. I do as many versions as I need to make it good looking. Oh, also something else with the mice and otter patterns, and why I want to do a more simplified pattern. If you mess up in the mice or the otter patterns, like if you're one stitch off, if you skip something, if you add one more, it messes up basically the whole pattern. Like it's not lined up anymore, which is really difficult for people if they keep messing up. It happens to me occasionally. Usually I just end up frogging like 1 or 2 rows and redoing the part until it's good. But that can get really annoying really quickly if you are not as experienced with crocheting. And plus, like, you want to be happy with how it turns out, which is why I wanted to make the more simplified patterns and experiment with how I would do that. I think it's turning out pretty decently so far. Yeah, so I'm going to keep working on my second rendition of the possum. Hopefully everything that I'm worried about turns out okay. If not, I mean, hey, more chances to improve it. Yeah, I actually no, it is technically the third version. Because I finished the head and a part of the body of the second version of the possum and realized that the feet were lined up anymore because I had decided to get rid of a few of the rows from the original version, and that messed up some alignment stuff. So technically it's kind of the 2.5 or 3. Hopefully this all made sense. Hopefully it's somewhat interesting to you. I mean, it's interesting to me. That's why I like to talk about it. But I'll either do like a time lapse, or I will end up probably just updating you. But I might end up doing a time lapse if you're lucky. Unless you don't like time lapses. That's fine too. I understand. Yeah, so I'm gonna see you in a little bit. I'm gonna keep working on my possum. And yeah, I think that's it. My hair is drier now. I made like a row or 2 of progress. Not a lot, but a little bit before my iPad decided to die on me. And my the cord that I have doesn't reach all the way to the top of my desk. I would have to like put it on the floor underneath my desk. So either I'll just move over to my bed where I can sit and actually get my cord to reach, or I'll just take a break and eat some dinner. But I started the gray part. Yeah, and I'm just skipping the pink for the feet. It's just another yarn color that I have to deal with for my testing. I'll add it for the final version, obviously, along with the safety eyes and the embroidery. But right now I'm just doing gray feet. Yeah. Look at this beautiful pile of floor spaghetti that just kind of, appeared when I frogged my possum about 5 times. Don't know where that came from. Yeah, this is what happens when you're making a pattern and you have to frog it about 5 times. It's fun times. I like pattern making, but this is probably my least favorite part, where it's just chaos. Love that. Also, sorry if my camera keeps like wanting to refocus. I forgot to focus it before starting. So it's a few hours later, about midnight. And I actually finished another version and then forgot to film and frogged the whole thing already. So, yeah. But I'll tell you what it kind of looked like and what I needed to change still. So the first version, I felt like had too much of like a pronounced neck, if that makes sense. Like the decreases went in too far and then, came back out, obviously. Yeah, also I needed to shorten the nose. I fixed those 2 things, but because of because I ended up shortening kind of the neck, along with that was just kind of a side consequence of removing the extra decrease round. But what ended up happening is it also kind of ended up making the body look shorter, and I've actually counted it. The body and the head were only about 3 rows difference It ended up looking like a piggy bank, a possum piggy bank, just because the head and the body were so similar in length. It really did not look good. And that's why I wanted to get rid of it immediately. Erase the evidence. So I've actually, since then, completely worked up an entirely new version with a larger body. I think it looks a lot better than the piggy bank. It's still a tiny bit piggy bankish, but not nearly as much as it was. It used to, like, the body used to end like about there, and it was like the same length as the head. It was really bad, but now it's longer, and I think it looks a bit better. Hopefully this ends up being the last testing changing version I have to do. I'm gonna do like a few more test versions just to make sure that the pattern works and everything that I have written down. I didn't write down anything wrong, but yeah, I was struggling with the placement of these feet hardcore. But I think that they're lined up with the ears at this point in time. Also, I don't know why the stitch is very funky. Like, I didn't pull it tight enough or something, so there's like some white on the ear. Anyway, hopefully I fix that for the final version. But yeah, this is what it's looking like. It looks better than the piggy bank did. I might end up shrinking down the head just a little bit more, because I don't want to make it any bigger than it is. But currently, numbers wise, the head is actually... No, it's not. It's not. Wait a minute. Okay, so numbers wise, the head is approximately half of the rows of the body. But in theory, it is. But in practice, it kind of looks more like 2/3 of the body. So yeah, seeing this on camera, I still feel like the head's kind of big. So I might actually shrink the head. Do I want to do that tonight though? Not sure. Not sure yet. I did like it, and now I'm seeing it on camera and I'm like, that's still really big. Probably just take out one of these rows here, because there is a single crochet row, like a single crochet only row around the nose area, so I might take that out. Yeah, I think I'm gonna test just that, which means frogging the whole thing, which means more yarn spaghetti on the floor. I will try and update you when I finish this next version. Hopefully it's an easy fix and it's just the one row that I need to take out. If not, it's going to be a bit more of a challenge than I originally anticipated, which means more time, which I don't mind. I like pattern writing, and it's a bit of a bigger pattern than I've been making. It's not a very, very big pattern, but it's still like big enough for it to that I need to take breaks, or else my wrist starts hurting again. Yeah, anyway. It's just my update. I need to get used to videoing what I'm doing more, because I keep doing stuff and then frogging it and then forgetting to film before I frog it, so you have no idea what it looked like. Anyway, since I filmed last, I believe I frogged the one that I was showing you, and then I made a new one with a shorter nose, and then I think after that I started the one that I'm working on currently, which is actually the hopefully final draft test of the possum pattern. So I'm in the middle of a row, as you can see, but I wanted to also do like a not a pure color like I've been doing. I wanted to do more of like a stripy kind of textured look, but this is the face. As you can see, the nose is shorter, which I like a lot better. I've already embroidered it and put the eyes in because I'm actually finishing this version instead of just frogging it again. Yeah, but I'm liking how it's starting out. I feel like I say that a lot, but it's true. I believe also between now and the one that I did previous, I also shifted the feet forward. No, backwards. I shifted them back by a row because I felt like it was like a little bit too forwards and it was kind of causing a bit of unbalancedness. Anyway, I think it's really cute. My sister suggested the striping, and I think it's a good idea. Hopefully it doesn't affect the sizing too much, because I'm actually using 2 different yarns to accomplish this look, because I don't have like a self-striping gray or like a variegated gray, whatever you would call it. So I'm doing it manually, which is a bit of an annoyance, but it's turning out okay and I'm almost done. Also, got my beans. I've been loving using the weighted beans for the plushies. It's so nice and it feels so nice and they're so weighted. Oh, they're so nice. So I'm gonna finish that up and then write the part of the pattern for the tail, because I haven't made a tail yet because I haven't actually fully closed off any of the possums yet. I'm on version 4.5 of the pattern. Yeah, I make like little tiny adjustments here and there, but not enough to make a full new pattern version. Sometimes it's just like, oh, I should move that over by a stitch, or oh, that needs to be adjusted ever so slightly. Usually if it's just one row that's changing, slightly changing, I don't make another version. So I'm also trying to take photos along the way because I need photos for when I'm publishing the pattern. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep working on this and then I will check in when I'm done the body, hopefully before I do the tail. If not, I'm sorry, but you will see the finished thing. I promise you that. Hi. Please ignore my headphones that are practically standing in their graves. They're taped up. I finished the body. As you can see, it's all sewn up. It's all cute. I really like how the striping turned out. I think it's super cute and it looks like a possum. I think that the body ended up a tiny, tiny bit bigger than my mock-ups because of the two different yarns being worked together. You know, if you're working with two yarns, oftentimes you can crochet over top of the other one that you're not using, just so that you can, you know, easily access it again when you need it again for the pattern. Anyway, that's what I was doing. So I think it ended up a tiny bit bigger, but it's really cute. It's really cute. Look at this face. Look at this face. How can you not love it? It still needs a tail. Poor thing. It needs a tail. I put some beans in it so it's nice and weighty. This friend is friendly and it needs its tail, so I need to write the tail part of the pattern and give this friend its tail so it can be a complete possum. I will see you then. Hello. So in the time lapse you just saw, I was working on the tail of the opossum, but I also have to, you know, be writing down the instructions for the pattern. So I was also doing that, and I was also watching some old archived streams. I'm rewatching technically some of them. Some of them are new. I have like a playlist of long videos to watch that I'm getting through slowly, but you know, it's just constantly being added to as new stuff comes out. Because, you know, sometimes I'm in the mood to watch long stuff, sometimes I'm not, you know. Oh, duh. I'm recording because I wanted to show you. Look. He's finished. The tail, I could have done a couple more chains on because I wanted it to be like about the length of the body from the neck to the back end. It's a tiny, tiny bit shorter than that though. So I could have done a couple more chains, but I do really like how it turned out. It's so chunky, but not like too chunky. I like to write patterns that are simplified enough to make them easier to do, but not too simplified that they look super, super, super cartoony. I like to keep them sort of semi-realistic, but also simplified, if you get what I'm trying to say. You know, kind of like this. I simplified the legs to just being little feet, but the proportions of the body are still kind of accurate. The head might be a little bit bigger, but you know, it's not like it's a super chunky possum. So yeah, that's what I wanted to do, and I think I accomplished my goal. I really like how it turned out. I love its little face. It's really cute.